If you want to become an unstoppable woman, there are 3 emotions you need to break free from, or at the very least, get comfortable with. And that is shame, fear, and guilt. And in today's video, we're talking about shame. Let's get into it. Hello intentional woman, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ayani May and let's just jump in. But before I do that, I just want to clarify that this video is not about you not feeling shame when you do something you should be ashamed of. Not at all. This video is about you not allowing people, men, women, society, whoever you can think of, to shame you for certain things. And the first one is wanting to get married. I will never understand this one, honestly. And it's usually worse when the shaming comes from other women. Women who claim to be feminists who do not even understand what that means. They make it seem like wanting someone to do life with is something you should be ashamed of, as if doing life alone is so wonderful. Most people do not want to do this life alone. It can make it really, really hard. God, in his infinite wisdom, knew this and he ordained marriage. The coming together of 2 people who love each other, care for one another, challenge and support each other is beautiful. So why would anybody get shamed for wanting something so beautiful? Does that make sense? Can I do life alone? Of course I can. It would mean digging into something within me to make that happen. But do I want to do that? Of course not. I want to have somebody to love and who loves me, someone I can rant to, disturb, terrorize, someone who is a spiritual cover. I want a lover, a friend, a partner, and a husband. You cannot imagine the fantasies I have about what I will do to my husband. And I'm sure you have those kinds of fantasies too. By the way, dear husband, if you're out there listening, don't be scared. I promise I'll be gentle. So my darling, if this is something you desire for yourself, get comfortable saying it. Don't allow other people shame you for it. All right? The second thing you should never feel shame about is desiring a man who is a provider. Immediately a woman says, I want a man who provides. You start to hear things like, go and fend for yourself. He's not your father. He's not your mother. As if a woman saying this automatically means she's going to fold her arms and do nothing with her life. Besides, providing goes beyond money. Support, guidance, leadership are some of the things a wholesome man provides in a relationship. If you are a hyper-independent woman, please enjoy your hyper-independence by yourself. Do not try to shame other women who desire ease into thinking that doing everything by yourself and not having anybody you can depend on is such a wonderful thing. Imagine being in a relationship with a man and you cannot depend on him for anything. Then what's the essence of that relationship? If you have ever seen or maybe experienced the family dynamic where the man does nothing and the woman does everything, you'll find out that the woman takes on the role of the man, bearing responsibilities she shouldn't when there's a grown man in her life, and gradually she starts to look older than her age, stressed out and deeply unhappy. And someone would try to convince you that that is a good life. Rebuke them, because 1 Timothy 5 verse 8 says, if anyone fails to provide for his own, and especially for those of his own family, he has denied the faith by disregarding its precepts and is worse than an unbeliever who fulfills his obligation in these matters. It is a biblical principle that a man provides. I'm not saying the man should stretch himself and take on more than he can handle. No, I mean providing within his capacity. Wholesome men do this and they do it for the women they love because it benefits them from a psychological standpoint. It nurtures their masculinity, boosts their ego, makes them feel wanted and valued. It's essentially a thing of pride to them. That is why you see a lot of wholesome men worry so much if they're not able to provide for their family. So don't you want that? Don't you want a man who cares? The only thing I'll tell you is this. Do not try to force a man who is not a provider into becoming a provider. Don't try to force him to change. You're setting yourself up for heartbreak. If this is your desire, then you need to choose a man who is naturally a provider, a man who wants to take care of you because he is in love with you, a man who actually enjoys doing this. It is as simple as that. Number 3 is similar to number 2, but a bit more specific. And this is when a woman says, I want a financially secure man, aka a rich man. And before I get into this point, I'll have to say this, okay? Rich is relative. I hope you understand that, because one woman, based on her experience, can meet a man who earns XYZ, and for her, that's amazing. While another woman, based on where she is already in life, can meet a man who earns something even higher than Mr. A right here, and to her, that doesn't even scratch the surface. You have to make sure you know what financially secure means to you. Now that we've clarified that, let's get into this point, okay? People are so scared of talking about money and the role it plays in a relationship, even a marriage. They act as if you ignore it, it will go away. It won't. I've said it before on this channel. Money creates ease in a relationship. Should it be the only basis for choosing a partner? Of course not. But it should be a part of it. I hated struggling financially. I hated when I was broke. If I hated that for myself, why would I want my partner to be broke? Somebody who is essentially an extension of me, right? Because I'm tired of people turning into keyboard warriors every time a woman says, I want a financially secure man. Desiring this doesn't mean you should fold your arms and wait for the man to save you. Not at all. You should be working on your own finances because it will empower you and help you not get stuck in a bad situation. Personally, you cannot shame me for wanting a financially secure man. It's not possible. You cannot romanticize being broke to me. Anytime somebody tries or they tell me money is not important, I tell them you're speaking from a place of privilege, because it's usually people who have money who say things like this. And I always tell them, try living without money and then come back and tell me how unimportant it is. So be very clear on this. If you desire a financially secure man, be honest about it. It doesn't make you a gold digger. It doesn't make you materialistic. It means you understand how important money is in a relationship. Whew, that was a bit intense, wasn't it? Now number 4, and that is wanting somebody to love you. I think one of the reasons why this rubs people the wrong way, that's whenever somebody says they want somebody to love them, is that they automatically assume that you do not love yourself. That's a misconception. Loving yourself does not take away the desire of wanting someone to love you. Because no matter how much you love yourself, there are certain things you cannot do for yourself. And even when you do these things for yourself, it doesn't feel the same way. Wait, I just realized the heavy sexual innuendo in that statement. Oh my goodness. What I'm talking about here, let's take buying flowers for yourself as an example, because people say, oh, I can buy myself flowers. Awesome. Order flowers, right? Control the dispatch rider till he gets to your place. Pick up the flowers and tell me how that feels. Now imagine being in a relationship, if you're not, and then your partner sends you flowers just because. Be honest with yourself. Will it feel the same way? Of course not. So let's stop lying to ourselves or feel like if we say it often enough, it will make sense. Yes, you can get yourself flowers, you can take care of yourself, love yourself, do all these things for yourself. But if your partner does it for you, somebody who loves you, the feeling is different. Loneliness is horrible. And wanting someone to love you, not in a toxic, codependent way, but in a wholesome way, is a beautiful thing. So you should never feel ashamed for desiring that. Number 5, not wanting children. There's this misconception that every woman was put on this earth to give birth. And as far as I am concerned, that's a horrible mindset. Yes, children are a gift, but somehow, somewhere, maybe through social media, you have heard of some news where a mother did something tragic to her child. And in that moment, you thought to yourself, this woman should never have been a mother. Now imagine if that woman had done a bit of self-work and came to the realization that she doesn't have any maternal instincts, that having children wasn't for her. Isn't that a better path? It takes a lot of courage to accept that you do not want children, because wanting children is easy. It is what society expects from you. The hard one is a woman saying, I don't want children, and she should not be shamed for it. Because every time on social media, when a woman says, oh, I don't want children, you will see these comments from people who have this sense of certainty. It's like they're essentially saying, we know what is good for you. Go and have a child. Like they have walked in that person's shoe for even 2 seconds. My darling, if you do not want children, that is okay. It really, really is. And you should not allow anybody shame you for it. Now, number 6, you should never ever feel shame for desiring to be a homemaker. Again, radical feminists are usually the first to get in line and shame women who say, you know what? I want to be a homemaker. I want to be a housewife. I don't want to work. That is why I have zero patience for them, because those type of feminists believe that every woman should be career-driven, ambitious, power-hungry. And that's not possible. Some women's deepest desire is to be a homemaker. They want to take care of their husband and their children. And the amazing part is that they will feel completely fulfilled doing that compared to being in an office. I think the misconception is that being a homemaker is easy. It is not. Have you ever tried making a 1-week meal plan for a family? I'm talking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, where you still have to make sure everybody's dietary needs are met. It is tough. That is just one aspect of being a homemaker. Let's not even cover the other areas. There's a tweet that trended a couple of months ago where a man was saying that he has found new respect for his wife because prior to him having to take care of their children, he had always wondered why his wife would always look tired when he gets home. Because in his mind, he always thought, well, she's staying at home, so how hard can this be? And then I think she had to travel for a couple of days and he had to take care of the children. And he was like, my God, this is not easy. Because it's really not. If you are not a career-driven woman and all you want to do is be a homemaker, that's all right. Not every woman wants to work. To yourself, be true. Your plan should be to make sure that you are with a man who is comfortable with you being a homemaker, because he will be the one footing 100% of the bill. So he needs to be comfortable with that. And even at that, make sure you still put money aside from whatever he gives to you, because some days be crazy. Okay? Now, number 7, and you should never feel shame about your age. Period. Your age shouldn't define you. It is just the number of years you've been on this earth. You shouldn't feel you're too old to try certain things, and neither should you feel that you're too young to be a trailblazer. Stop allowing people age shame you, where when you want to do something, they said, oh, you're too old to do that, or you're too young to do that. If anyone age shames you, it says a lot about them. It says they are a hateful, bitter person who is projecting their insecurities about getting old on you. And you should pity such people. Never give them power over your mind or your emotions. According to Betty White, God rest her soul, who lived to be 99, she said, you never really feel your age. And I can testify to that. I am 32 and sometimes I forget how old I am until it's time to fill a form and I'm like, what? Is that how old I am? No. Back it up. What's going on here? It is always a shock. And on the heels of this is usually that feeling of you're behind time because of how old you are. Just don't let that be you, okay? I have a video that will help you handle a lot of these negativity, especially negative self-talk, negative thoughts, and even what people say to you that is negative. I'll link it in the description, okay? Number 8, your body. And this includes your weight, height, body shape, cellulites, stretch marks, and any other thing you can think of. Your self-worth should never be tied to a number on a scale. As a former athlete, it took me a long time to fall in love with my body, to fall in love with my muscles, with my large feet and my large palms. It took a lot of work, but I'm telling you right now, I couldn't care less. I only have this one body and I'm gonna love it. I cannot cover everything in this video, but I have a designated video for this where I share all the steps you can follow so that you start to fall in love with your body. I'll link it in the description. Please go watch it after this one. That way you never have to feel like you should hide and try to shrink yourself simply because of the way your body is shaped, okay? Do not allow society chip away at your self-worth and self-confidence, all because of what they perceive to be the beauty standards. Because beauty comes in different shapes and sizes. And by the way, who wants a world where everybody's skinny or a world where everybody's plus size? It's the variety that makes life interesting. So love your body, my darling. Number 9, your past. First, let's establish something. We all have a past, okay? So your past can either be something you are ashamed of, or it can be something to learn from, grow, and evolve into a better person. You are on this channel learning from me. Where do you think my inspiration, lessons, tips, tricks come from? It comes from everything that I have learned from working on myself right where I was, where if I tell you where I was 4 or 5 years ago, you wouldn't believe me, mocking my way through all of that and getting to where I am today. That is why I am able to sit here and share all of this with you. So instead of being ashamed of your past, make peace with it. The saddest part would be allowing your past to hold you back. It should be a tool that you're using to inspire other people. Do you know that a lot of the women who knew me years ago, when I started my journey and I started this brand, they used to tell people and say, I knew her when she was XYZ. I could have let that hold me back and say, oh my God, these people knew me. No, you are allowed to reinvent yourself over and over and over and over until you find yourself. But first of all, you must let go of your past. You cannot feel shame about it. Work on yourself and show people what is possible when you start to heal, when you start to pay attention to your personal development. Show people what it means to let go of all of that and start to walk in your purpose. The most powerful people that you know have heartbreaking pasts, from Viola Davis to Oprah Winfrey, Maya Angelou, and even Halle Berry. So your past should be a tool, not something that you're ashamed of. And finally, number 10, not wanting to get married. I know that some people still believe that getting married is a woman's ultimate desire, but that is not true. While most women do want to get married, there are some rebels in there who have decided this is not for me. And if you are one of those women, it is okay to not want to get married as long as this is something you truly want. It is something you're sure of. Right? You shouldn't have to explain yourself to anybody, period. So I'll wrap up this video by saying this. Women continue to get shamed because it works. It keeps you doubting yourself and stops you from breaking free from unrealistic expectations that society has placed on us. Shame is also a manipulation tool that most men, women, society, whatever, use in manipulating women into staying in situations that are terrible for them. The most painful part is that there are women who think they are looking out for somebody, but they are essentially shaming that person. And as women, we get shamed for just about anything, even when it is not our shame to carry. An example is when a man cheats and the woman feels shame. How in heaven's name is that her shame to carry? My darling, if you want to live a life where your self-worth and self-respect is intact, where no man has broken your spirit, you need to get comfortable with the feeling of shame and continue to choose yourself, even when you get shamed for it. All right? Okay, I just went on a rant. I'm sorry. And that's it for today's video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them with me in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because on this channel I create content that empowers you and helps you become a better version of yourself for yourself. Trust me, you will love it here. As always, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.